got to shoot this bit, Margaret. You've got to shoot it.
So hi and welcome to this week's episode of the Whiteout Podcast. I'm Dom, publisher at In the Snow, and I'm so lucky to be joined by Rob Stewart, co-host, journalist, PR extraordinaire, a self-confessed gear geek. Welcome, Rob. How are you?
Well, I'm good, Dom. Blimey, that's quite an intro. I think I need to lower people's expectations a bit on that one. But yeah, it's good to be here again. Genuinely very excited about getting out there on the snow. And for me, it's just 2 weeks away from a quick weekend in Val Thorens.
Oh, that sounds like good news, Rob. That's I didn't realise you were going there. That's you're going there for the opening.
Well, technically not the opening, although we've heard they have delayed their opening by a week, I think. So yeah. I might be there in the end on the opening weekend. I think
good stuff.
We'll hear from you about the snow, Dom, but I think it's coming, isn't it? It's coming.
It does look good. So let's give a big shout out to our sponsors of this episode, Skiweekends. For total flexibility, you can stay as long as you like with Skiweekends. They do weeks too. So with more choice than ever before, they have fantastic catered chalets or 2 to 5 star hotels in more than 30 of the best known resorts across the Alps and beyond. The team really are ski experts with over 100 years of experience and are on hand to help you find your next ski break. Check out skiweekends.com to book your next flexible ski break. It's been a fortnight since we chatted, Rob. I'm looking forward to catching up on all the best snow conditions, which we're about to now, the news from around the ski world, some gear that we've managed to get our hands on, and how to save a bit of cash when you go skiing, and what else have we got coming up this episode?
Yeah, we've also got, didn't know you could ski there, and the resort spotlight of the week as well, which is none other than Andermatt, that incredible Swiss destination recently acquired by Vale Resorts.
So first up, Rob, I'm on Snow Watch. Where can we ski now, and where is the best snow, I hear you asking? It is changing daily, which has to be good news because we like variable weather in the Alps at this time of the year. We want it to be a bit mixed up. It's looking like we could be in for some bigger dumps over the next week. We've seen a bit more snow at altitude this week, especially in the western and northern western Alps. So we're talking Teen, Alpway, Engelberg, Glacier 3000. This latter part of the week, and maybe already hit by the time this podcast goes live, is a cold front which will reach the northwestern Alps and could well bring up. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's exciting, isn't it? Could well bring a foot of snow in the northern Alps. So especially the French and Swiss Alps, which could see a treat in resorts like Teen, Val Thorens, Verbier, and potentially the Dolomites might benefit too. So this weekend, it is expected to get colder and potentially some extra snow. We could be seeing even bigger snowstorms in the French and Western Swiss Alps, and that could extend to Italy by early next week. So I'm talking 21st, 22nd, 23rd of November for listeners. There's about 20 ski areas open in Europe already.
Wow.
Most of them are offering high altitude skiing, and Obergurgl was the first non-glacier resort to be open with a bit of artificial and real snow mixed in. So plenty going on. And with most resorts only a couple of weeks away from main opening, they are all praying for the big dumps that we're promising right now. The two leading Finnish ski areas of Levi, or Levi, however you want to call it, and Ruka have both been open for a month already. They started early October. They have definitely benefited from that.
Levi World Cup ski race on this weekend, right?
Very exciting. You're going to love
Women's
that.
slalom, 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
Looking forward to that. So looking at country by country, Austria has the most open resorts so far, 7, including Kitzsteinhorn, Kaunertal, Pitztal, Stubai, Kaprun, Solden, and the Hintertux glaciers all open. Lech looks snowy on pictures. They're opening on the 2nd of December. Hopefully those photos aren't just media pics, so don't get too excited unless you've checked some of those webcams. I've checked and it is looking all right. St Anton also looking pretty snowy on the webcams, also opening on the 2nd of December, and Ischgl opening too, with their top of their mountain concert on the 26th of November, so not far away from that.
Wow.
Snow cannons are blasting, so temperatures must be pretty cold down there. And the ski Welt of Wildekaiser also looking pretty good. Kitzbühel has also opened some slopes. Obergurgl in the Tyrol fires up its lifts. Oh, I think that's today they're opening up. Which is
really
news.
Amazing.
On to Switzerland. Engelberg, Muren, Zermatt, Sarsvey, Dierveletzer near St. Moritz, all open and looking okay. but it is early days. So again, do keep an eye on the webcams and those detailed weather forecasts. Arosa Lenzerheide has also opened, as well as Verbier. I wonder if they're going to do their usual Santa skiing the first week of December, which always looks quite cool. I'm sure you do
sure
that,
they will,
don't you? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm always up for dressing up and skiing. Yeah.
We don't want to know about that. And then Adelboden and Andermatt, they're also both open, and the same applies there. And Glacier 3000 near Gstaad opening this weekend. If I was to get excited about any resort in Switzerland at the moment, it'd probably be Saas-Fee. That looks pretty good. Moving on to France. Not quite rosy just yet, but next week we could see all the difference. There are dramatic changes looking like are coming out, and if we do see those big changes, the likelihood is we'll do a quick podcast bonus episode next week. Val d'Isère had to delay their opening, unfortunately, so they're now opening 4th and 5th of December. Val Thorens, same story, also delayed their openings, but I think all for the right reasons. They want the resorts to be great. Teen also looking at the 26th opening, which is definitely later than normal. Les Menuires and Courchevel, they're looking good on social pics. Let's hope they're telling a good story and a truthful story there. So let's hope this new front coming in this weekend might well bring some good news. So moving on to Italy. 2 glaciers are currently open in Italy, Val Senalis and Chavinia. The non-glacier resort of Solda is also open for some limited terrain. But moving across the pond, Rob, a very different, whiter story. So if you're ready to go skiing now, the USA is definitely the place you want to be heading. It's one of the best starts of the season in recent memory. Now on offer in Colorado, California, Idaho, Utah, Washington, with more than a dozen resorts now open.
Chuck Montana in there as well. I would.
And Montana,
yeah, I would,
of course.
I'm going there. I'm going there. Very excited.
Park City in Utah lifts cranked on Wednesday 16th. It's the earliest resort opening in more than 25 years. Mammoth opened on the 5th of November. I was in contact with resort staff that day, and they were absolutely maxed out, snowing heavily, which was very exciting. Sugar Bowl and resorts in Safe South Lake Tahoe saw massive foot-deep snowfalls with cars sliding around and everybody going crazy. They all kicked off their season earlier than initially planned on Saturday, the 12th of November. Heading across to Breckenridge, Colorado, open 9th of November. I'm going there in March, as well as A Basin, Wolf Creek, Loveland also opened on the 4th, picked by Winter Park on 31st of October, and Keystone opened even earlier on the 28th. So they've got plenty going on. Big Sky, Rob.
Yeah,
you're going to Big
Sky, Montana.
Yeah, I've just checked out their webcams, and it was snowing on the cam as I watched. That was about 40 minutes ago. So serious Instagram pictures coming from you in January, no doubt.
Oh, for sure.
Utah has its first resort opening too, which is Brian Head. I don't know how they get that name, but hopefully it's not something they found when snow melts. Deer Valley, bit better known, also posting some pretty exciting pictures, and Aspen looking snowy, opening on the 19th. Finally, Canada, while I've got 2 more seconds to speak, Ski Big 3, that's Banff, Lake Louise, Sunshine, they're all open for business since the 11th of November. Webcam's looking great there. Mount Norkie opened on the 10th, Marmot Basin, Jasper, 50% open. Rob, I'm finished.
That's all, folks.
Wow. Whew. Take a breath. That's a fantastic roundup. Yeah, I know there's not all good news there, but you know, I'm a bit of a long-term weather geek. I don't mean a weather geek being a weather geek for a long time. Well, actually, I have been
that as well,
but I do tend to look at those long-term weather forecasts. You know, a few websites like snowforecast.com, which is probably pretty well known to people, but also netweather.tv. That's a really interesting one because you get the jet stream forecast on there, and yeah, it's definitely looking so much more positive than it was a week ago. I mean, I think it might settle down a bit after this weekend and next week, maybe warm up slightly before another wave comes in at the start of December. That's what I'm predicting. So yeah, buckle up. We could be in for some very, very decent snowfall.
You heard it here
could
first,
be,
Rob.
Could be. I think we will be actually.
We're all
but you've definitely raised the bar with your snow report, Dom. Very comprehensive. My turn to impress you, though, with some serious ski news that I've got here. Starting off with Ted Ligety, who has jumped on board with the ski tech company called Carve. You know, Ted. What a nice bloke Ted is. I've met him and he's a super nice guy. It's now possible, though, to train with a double gold medalist.
Love it.
You've got real-time audio coaching and drills and concepts built by Ligety himself. So you can get a comparison of your turns and data captured from Ligaty's own skiing to see how close one can get to the famous Olympians.
That is neat.
Well, famous turn. £200 for a carve unit, and then £149 per year subscription cost on top of that. But I've used Carve. It is a great bit of kit, and it actually does work. I'm just not sure why they haven't asked me to partner with them. But I'm looking forward to taking Ted on. That's for sure. So quick bit of news about Tallington Lakes, the outdoor recreation centre in Lincolnshire, but actually it's not very far from Peterborough. It's rematted its 120-metre artificial slope with a pro slope surface. It looks really nice. I'm an old school Dendex skier myself, but I've never tried pro slope. I don't think so. I might head up to Tallington. The whole setup there is really good. Really good.
Absolutely.
Peak Retreats, tour operator that we know very well. I just recently bumped into Xavier Schiller, the owner of Peak Retreats, at a travel event last week in London. He looked as sprightly as ever after 20 years of tour operating. They have 75 resorts in the program now. Very impressive. Nice bunch of people as well, aren't they? Really nice bunch of people.
Love them.
Well, they do go to the big resorts, but they also cover those smaller destinations that you may never have heard of as well. Val Gardena over in the Italian Dolomites. They have got a couple of new runs, ski runs for this winter. I was there in the summer doing an mountain bike tour around the Sella Ronda, which was incredible. But there's a new black run called La Ria. It starts at the top of the Dantasepes cable car, drops down, I might have pronounced that wrong, drops down the mountainside, maximum incline of 52% and 310 meters of vertical drop.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The other new trail, Pilat, formerly an off-piste route through a rocky forest from the Cesar Alm to Ortezay, town of Ortezay, very smart town. It's now being carefully prepared and developed to become a spectacular, apparently downhill slope cutting through some woodland. So that sounds nice. I think it's good because Ortezay to be able to ski down there on a big run like that that's a pretty big bit of news. I mean, the Dolomites are impressive, aren't they? Just stunning, so and nice. the skiing there, the food, and everything about the area is fantastic. So we love the Dolomites.
Very good.
New Rowan Miller movies coming out. Daymaker looks really cool. They've been on some adventures, haven't they? Capturing some incredible footage around the world. They've been to Alaska, Switzerland, Canada, US, and even Greece. And there's a few cinema venues showing the new Daymaker movie coming up 21st of November, not long now, next week. IMAX Theatre in London, and then you've got the Curzon Soho the day after on Tuesday the 22nd, and then in Birmingham you can catch that on Wednesday the 23rd of November at the Crescent Theatre. All of those start at 6:30 in the evening, but it's always good at the beginning of the season to get a bit of ski action.
Got to be done.
Sadder news. Unfortunately, the Red Bull owner and co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz has died, unfortunately, at the age of 78. I mean, it's incredible when you think about the influence this guy's had on the action sports industry. I guess a lot of people think Red Bull's a drinks company, but I don't think that's how he saw it.
No.
And if you're a Formula One fan, you think it's a racing car company. And as a skier, you think it's a ski brand, which it also is. So it's incredible what mark he's left on the sports world, really. Olympic news. The government of British Columbia and Canada has said it won't support a Vancouver bid to stage the 2030 Winter Olympics. And, following Olympic forays into new territories over the past 10 years, like Sochi, South Korea, Beijing, the last time it was in Europe was Turin 2006. BC has declined to support a bid for 2030. So I think we're left with Salt Lake City, who last hosted the Games in 2002, and possibly Sapporo in Japan, who last hosted in 1972. There's a few other bidders in the mix. I think Georgia and Kazakhstan might go for it, but I think that they're unlikely to get it, to be honest. It's a bit tough, where does it go from here? And Norway doesn't seem to want it. So, we'll see. We'll see where that goes in 2030. And finally, Dom, while I'm gasping for air here, the Tour de France returns to Morzine in 2023. A bit of summer news, really, but, have to mention that. The route starts at Andermatt, takes in some of those big classic cols, including the Ramaz and the Col de Joux plan. They're amazing to cycle up. I've been up there myself at snail's pace. I've ridden up those things. And honestly, when you see those guys race up there, you realise how incredibly fit those guys are. The 14th stage of the race on Saturday, the 15th of July. very, very tempted to be there for that one.
Oh, I'd love to be out there for
There we
that.
go.
That is such an event, isn't it? So what a
Yeah.
fantastic roundup of news, Rob. That is impressive.
Yeah, well, there's lots going on, isn't there? And hopefully we'll be bringing our listeners the very, very latest news hot off the press every couple of weeks.
So, Rob, onto our gear guide. I'm sure you two have spotted some nice gear this week. I've certainly got a few things in my sights, so I will start off if you're happy.
Yeah. Absolutely, go for it. I love this section.
Well, first up for me is the Helly Hansen Leafer Merino base layers. Not too pricey at £65 for the top. Looks great. Obviously a brand. Helly Hansen really know their gear when it comes to outdoor adventure. You could use it for anything, right from cycling to ski touring or skiing or whatever you're going to use it for as a base layer. It combines, they say it combines the impressive natural warmth of merino wool fibres with the unique wicking properties of Helly Hansen's Leafer Stay Warm moisture management system. So pretty cool piece of kit. I've also got my hands on a pretty nice pair of goggles from Zeal Optics. These are the Beacon. Love the super cool frameless ultra wide gold lens. Absolutely beautiful on these. I didn't think I could look any cooler than I already do, but
I love the Zeal stuff.
Yeah,
but they are great.
So retail price on those are $89.99. So it's a good price for a nice pair of goggles. That Zeal Beacon. And also some lovely ladies base layers that were sent through from Ivy. They're a beautiful brand. They're so cool, far too cool for school. Really nice stuff ladies wear. I look great wearing this ladies base layer, Rob.
Oh yeah, well I can imagine. I've always said that about you, Dom.
Made good in ladies' clothing. Made by women for women is what they say. So always top when it comes to style and substance. Ivy, that's EIVY for anybody who doesn't know the brand. We've been sent this very cozy leopard print layer made using 88% recyclable polyester, super soft fleece lined, high collar. It's an absolute game changer for those ladies on the cold slopes. So those cold windy days, pull up that nice high collar and they've got some real nice leopard skin print base layers.
Nice for them though. I mean, how come women always get those leopard skin prints and men get what? Black, blue? Why can't I have something like I don't know, a gorilla print base layer, for example? That's what why can't we have that? We never get stuff like that.
You do make me laugh. You do sound slightly like Boris Johnson when you say stuff like that. But I could, I can.
That's a scary thing.
I can get you a gorilla print if that's what you like. I'll get that made just to see you wearing that on the slope. So yeah.
Oh, I'd love that.
So there you go. And I think the final thing that I got my hands on this week was Dope. I mean, obviously this brand is super cool. They're so cool they even call themselves Dope. They are quite frankly dope.
Yeah. I don't think you can get away with saying dope or stick or even stoked or any of those other down with the kids expressions, man. So stick to the script, Dom. You plonker.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you very much. I'll take that as I don't know what. It sounded like one of my children talking to me. So anyway, Dope, predominantly a snowboard brand. Clothing's pretty nice, I have to say. Very nice blocky colors, looks really good. I thought it was more of a youngsters brand, but actually you're seeing a whole new wave of these independent brands now coming out with these superb ski and snowboard gears. It really does look good. You're talking between 130 and 250 quid for jackets, similar price for pants. And Dope have got a whole range of everything from goggles and fleeces and gloves, beanies, the whole shebang. Yeah, I'd honestly say well worth checking out Dope. You can buy direct off their website, which is ridestore.com, but then they have Montec Wear as well, which is their ski brand. So it looks very, very nice. I've got hold of this stuff. My wife's tried on the ladies stuff. I've tried on the men's, and actually it is tasty stuff. I think I am going to be down with the kids, Rob. I think I'm going to look sick.
There you go. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Maybe not.
Exactly. I got the joke.
Oh, good.
I like it.
Not to be outdone by you, Dom, I've got some pretty sick stuff on my list here as well.
Okay. So you can say
about this. I've got a brand new brand here, Wolf Merino, environmentally sustainable base layer brand. It's just launched from Norway. Pro snowboarder Sturla Sandbeck is an early investor in this and ambassador. They've got two lines. There's a high performance line featuring a Tenkel merino wool blend and an everyday line featuring 100% merino wool. You've got long sleeve and short sleeve tops and bottoms, all those base layer stuffs, but socks, balaclavas, beanies, neck gaiters. check them out at wolfmerino.com. They do look super cool, but the base layer top is coming out at around £100. Pretty high-end stuff there.
Yeah, nice. Very good.
New collaboration between Dina Star Skis and the World Freeride Tour. And there's Dina Star have got the M3 108 Freeride World Tour limited edition ski. So freeride ski, co-designed by Edgar Chalos and René Bacard, World Freeride Tour skier. Graphics feature the legendary Bec de Ross mountain in Verbier, of course, captured by photographer Dom Deha. It looks super cool. They'll retail for around €700. Just check them out at the freerideworldtour.com website. So that's quite a nice little thing to look out for this winter. Strictly speaking, this one is a bit useless, but I am telling everyone about it now because I want it. Well, it's not, the kit isn't useless. It's just the fact that you can't get hold of it until next winter. But I think, we do like to launch this gear sort of well in advance. It's the kind of thing that people can keep a lookout for. It's a partnership between DB and Safeback. DB being the old douchebag brand they now refer to as DB. It's a new backcountry vest. It's the winner of an ISPO award this year, 2022. It's the first system of its kind to actively supply air to snow burial victims. It's different to the old sort of system. It extends the survival window after burial in an avalanche or a tree well, interestingly, without requiring a mouthpiece.
Okay.
And it will be available next autumn, 2023. It's designed to meet, the needs of off-piste skiers and snowboarders looking for that added layer of protection. But check it out at www.safeback.no. Moving on, we've got some money saving tips. You know what? I'm going to run through my five top tips that I put together. So for saving money, basically, when you travel.
And while you're doing that, I'll write my 5.
Okay. Well, this is my number one. Independent travel is fantastic and it works for some people. It's great that we can do it. But despite huge losses in the catered chalet market over recent years, there's still some very, very good UK-based tour operators out there offering really good deals, especially in non-peak weeks. If you think of the likes of Skiweekends, Mountain Heaven, Le Ski, Ski Beat, Family Ski Company, all those tour operators still providing that kind of traditional family or individual catered chalet holiday, you can't deny that the prices that they offer for a package, it's hard to beat. So, my top tip is don't think that those tour operators don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the new wave of flexible chalet operators that are really sort of coming to the fore now. And their business model is, I think, very, very interesting. And what they do is they build services such as catering over the top of a self-catering holiday. This is not necessarily new, but over the last few years, it's been growing and growing. So what the tour operator tends to do is provide the base of the self-catered accommodation, and then you build your services on top of that. What that means is that in the past, those tour operators would have employed staff to cook the meals and all that kind of stuff. And that's quite expensive to do in France. What that has done genuinely has reduced the cost of a catered chalet holiday for guests. And you get a very good service. Those chefs are normally professional chefs. And honestly, the price comes out generally lower. So that's another top tip. Number 3, pre-Christmas, you go for an early season ski holiday. I've seen some deals today for under £400 to resorts like Borovets in Bulgaria, under 400, including flights and transfers for a week in a self-catering apartment. And in Bulgaria, the food's super cheap. Going out is cheap. So that pre-Christmas week is a good bargain week to go for, and it's not always that busy in the Alps.
Any points of where you saw that deal, Rob?
That particular one on Borovets was on the travel agent Ski Line's website.
Perfect.
Okay, so skiline.co.uk.
Great stuff.
Number 4, driving to the Alps is not as scary as it might appear to be for some people. The roads are very, very good through France. Even when you work out those costs, if you're a family of say 4, you're budgeting, I don't know, ballpark figure about £600-700 to get there and back. I think that's quite a generous budget. And if you think about flights over those peak season weeks, you're never going to get flights for that price for the whole family. Number 5, do book ski hire in advance, because if you're traveling independently, especially, you will save money going online and buying ski rental in advance when you If you turn up to resort and walk into that ski shop, they will give you that premium. They will sell it to you at the premium price. You can save easily up to 50% if you book it online in advance for your ski hire. So make sure you do that.
Good advice there, Rob. I haven't quite got 5 things together while you've been talking, but I know based on your booking ski hire in advance, book your ski passes in advance as well, because without a doubt, the most expensive passes are when you walk up to the window on the day. So definitely look online and see if you can book those up in advance. Borrowing ski gear off a mate, there are plenty of people that only do 1 trip a year, so don't rush out to buy a new jacket or buy skis or buy boots or whatever before you go. Borrow stuff off a mate if you can. So also consider smaller resorts that connect up to big terrain. That's if you even need big terrain. So places like Orel connecting into Val Thorens or Brie-de-la-Bain connecting up to the 3 valleys there. They are great money saving options just by being just slightly out of those mega resorts. But on the same note, my point number 3 is, how much terrain do you actually need? There's plenty of people I know that go to these big resorts, they buy the big ski pass, and then they ski the same dozen runs every day for a couple of days or 4 or 5 day holiday. So it's definitely worthwhile looking at some of the names that you wouldn't initially think of to go skiing in. Check out the likes of Peak Retreats, because you know what? They do go to some of these absolute gem resorts. They are the proper chocolate box places where you get fabulous restaurants, you get good skiing, especially if you've got a family and the kids want to start venturing off on their own a little bit if they're that sort of age. Cheaper lift passes, cheaper food and drink when you're in resort, real chocolate box places, often attract great snowfall, and you're going to get well looked after by a tour operator like that. So they are my budget saving tips for this week. Right, so moving on to what I think is arguably my favourite part of this podcast is I didn't know you could ski there. And this week, Rob, tell me a place that I didn't know I could ski.
Yeah, well, today I'm going to talk about Georgia. Even if you did know you could ski in Georgia, I'm just hopefully going to give a little bit of advice about going to the country that I have been to ski a couple of times. Geographically, it's wedged between Europe and Asia, borders Russia to the north and Turkey to the south. The most famous resort is Gdańsk. It's very established. It's 2 hours from the capital of Tbilisi. It's the most commercial ski area. Lots of modern lifts and accommodation choices there. You've got Bakuriani as well, south of the other direction. Another established resort. It was formerly used in Soviet times, actually, for Winter Olympic training camps. It's actually very pretty. It's very nice. The real adventure, though, is in Mestia. It's incredible location, totally isolated. You can get there on a 2-hour flight from Tbilisi or a 9-hour drive. So take your pick, but the flight only goes in good weather. It's got incredible peaks, higher than the Alps. 2 fairly small ski areas, very nice, but small. Hats Valley and Tetnoldi, and tons of ski touring options there. The whole area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's got these ancient towers across the whole valley. I mean, it's medieval landscape. Amazing. Wow. Getting there at the moment, you can fly with Pegasus or Turkish. That's 2 airlines which are probably the easiest way. There's no direct flights there right now from London, but easy to transfer in somewhere like Istanbul, for example, with Turkish. Getting around the country, it's not that easy, but you can rent. I mean, there's no real other way unless you go with an organized tour operator. More of that in a minute.
Okay.
The accommodation is generally good value, and in the city in Tbilisi there's some amazing hotels there, big international brands, but also check out Rooms Hotel, really lovely boutique hotel. I've stayed there. It's lovely. Gdańsk's got everything from 4-star hotels to small family run lodges. In Mestia, though, it's generally the smaller lodges, but they are comfortable and they're great value. Lift pass prices in Gdańsk, which would be the highest in the country, they're around £15 a day or £80 for 6 days ski pass. So and in Mestia they're even cheaper than that. Remember, the ski areas are relatively small. Gdańsk is the largest ski area. It's got 35 kilometers of ski runs, and it is very different to skiing in the Alps. I mean, Gdańsk is probably comparable in some ways to like Borovets sort of size-wise. It is a great adventure. I think a long weekend to Tbilisi combined, because it's a cool city, Tbilisi, very sort of hipster, combined with two days skiing in Gdańsk. Go for it. Rent a car. Roads very good from Tbilisi to Gdańsk. 2 hours drive. Very straightforward, great sort of long weekend.
Rob, what am I going to be eating when I get there?
The food's fantastic in Georgia. It's a bit of it's a combination between sort of Mediterranean and a bit of Asian influence there. I mean, good value, lots of choice. It's best to go with an organised tour. And at the moment, post-COVID, there's not that many right now, but Mountain Heaven is running a full Georgia skiing holiday from January the 28th to February the 6th. And they've run that before. They know the country. So you can check that out on mountainheaven.co.uk.
That was great, Rob. Really enjoyed that. Very, very interesting. I have heard you talk quite passionately about Georgia before, and I think you've tempted me into it. So it's a great time to give a shout out to our two charity partners, Rob. Firstly, we're proud to support Snow Camp, the game-changing national youth charity who turn young lives around with the power of snow sports. They do amazing work by harnessing the power of skiing and snowboarding to develop life skills, qualifications, and positive opportunities for over 1,000 hard-to-reach young people year on year. Do go ahead and visit our charity partner today, snowcamp.org.uk.
Yeah, Dom, absolutely fantastic charity, Snow Camp. But I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Ellie Suter Foundation, who have just announced another athlete, 12-year-old alpine skier Xavier Poynton, as a new grant-funded skier on their programme. This now means they're looking after 4 of the UK's top up-and-coming prospective Olympians, which is unreal for this fairly new charity. And go and check them out, the Ellie Suter Foundation.
Fantastic, Rob. Thanks very much. So next up, regular resort spotlight, maybe a resort that other people have heard of before, and certainly something that we've mentioned already in this podcast.
Yeah, you know, we've always, readers and listeners comments often, Dom, right, talking about their favourite resorts, and we decided to pick out some of our listeners' favourites and run them in alphabetical order. And so this week we have chosen Andermatt. So, Dom, what do you know about Andermatt?
I have been talking to resort staff at Andermatt recently, and so I am a little bit more genned up than I thought I was going to be, actually. So this is a real chocolate box Swiss ski resort based at 1,400 metres and up to 2,960 at the top of the big Gemstock Mountain, which boasts a pretty damn good snow record in its history. It's got lovely low-level chalet-style buildings around and cobble streets. It's quite a gem. It's no wonder the likes of Vale Resorts swooped in and bought it. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. In terms of its location, it's just south of Lucerne and Engelberg. We're talking 200 miles from Geneva, but only 80 miles from Zurich. So 1.5 hours from Zurich. Pretty cool, nice and close. If you're driving from Calais Eurotunnel, you're looking at about 500 odd miles. So great location, great snow record, chocolate box resort. What more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, it's traditionally the place has been a bit sleepy, hasn't it? But, you know, an old military town as well, but pretty quaint and known for its free ride terrain, like you say, on the Gemstock. But it's been changing. You've touched on Vale Resorts, who bought it recently. There's definitely a lot of investment going on there with the new connecting lift as well up to the Cedron Valley, which is turning it much more into sort of varied ski resort for all ability levels of skiers and snowboarders rather than just the free ride side. There's lots of accommodation as well, and including budget stuff, budget hotels. You know, I've checked that out, started around £100 a night. But there's also that 5-star Sheddy hotel, which is about, I think about 7 or 8 years old now. And if you want some real luxury, that's coming in you know, through the winter at around £1,000 a night. So there's a big range of hotel options there. So, but that is an amazing hotel, incredible restaurant as well. It's definitely changing. It's got that big mountain free ride feel, but also, you know, if you've got other people in the group that want that more sort of sedate skiing up the valley, or the new lift system, the new connections, don't go there for the big après ski. It's not that kind of vibe. But there's obviously lots of nice places to eat and drink out. I don't think you'll be dancing on tables, but you know, it's not that place.
Usually, obviously, the skiing and the Gemstock is obviously very good condition. It's north facing, so it's got good height. And you tend to find that the snow stays there a lot longer. I think it's called the Natchen area. That gets a lot of sun. So obviously later in the season, that tends to cause, you know, come into sort of more slushy area.
I liked the place when I went there about 6 years ago, and I joined a mountain guide led trip with the Ski Club Great Britain, actually, Fresh Tracks, and I got to experience all that off-piste on the Gemstock, meal at the Sheddy, which was lovely. I stayed at the 3-star Sonne Hotel right in the middle of town, and that costs around £200 a night for a double room with breakfast, so for 2 people.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a nice place, a very, very sort of old, nice, lovely hotel. For those listeners traveling independently, there's a few options there we've mentioned, but there's also some tour operators that go there, including Ski Solutions, who do use the large Radisson Blue Hotel in town, as well as the Sheddy. And also Ski Club Fresh Tracks, as well as the independent tour operator Snowwise as well, that have accommodation in town.
Ah, good. Nice one, Rob. Well, that's the first of our resort spotlights. I think that was pretty informative. I hope our listeners liked it. Let us know if you did. So let's give a big shout out to our sponsors of this episode, Ski Weekends. For total flexibility, you can stay as long as you like with Ski Weekends. They do weeks too. So with more choice than ever before, they have fantastic catered chalets or 2 to 5 star hotels in more than 30 of the best known resorts across the Alps and beyond. The team really are ski experts with over 100 years of experience and are on hand to help you find your next ski break. Check out skiweekends.com to book your next flexible ski break. So before we go, a quick reminder to listeners, do subscribe to the podcast. But we have episodes every week, all kinds of good things coming up. We've even got an episode with Lindsay Vonn coming up shortly. You enjoyed that, didn't you, Rob?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't mind being in a room with Lindsay Vonn for a while, having a chat? It was all good fun. All good fun.
Oh, I love it. Well, I definitely ask listeners to leave a review if they like our podcast. If they don't like the podcast, maybe keep it as a secret and don't tell any of your friends. And that is about all for this week, isn't it, Rob? So anything else from you?
Well, very quickly, check out the Dave Riding interview if you haven't already done so. Also, next time, we have a bit of a celeb joining us. So, we'll spend a few minutes unearthing their inner ski secrets.
That sounds pretty interesting, Rob. And of course, that cold front will be under our watchful eye, looking out for the dumps of snow for this week and the early part of next week, which we might well do a bonus episode if we get enough of it. So, Rob, until next time.
Until next time. Cheers,
Good
Dom.
to see you. Take it easy.
Mais non, talkie-walkie.
Pretty sure it's called a walkie-talkie, mate.